Rise and shine on Australia's Vision Christian Radio.
Another great show today, Fel.
Yes, so it's Thursday today, and in the background, it's my husband's birthday. So I'm very excited. We have now got to organise. You know, as we get a bit older, it doesn't become as big a deal, but you still feel like there's a pressure involved. You have to get it right, don't you think?
Yeah.
I want to celebrate.
I won't ask how old he is, but he looks young. He looks attractive to me.
He's very young, very attractive. Yes, indeed. I don't think he listens to the podcast, so that I don't even need to say it. But he is. But yes, there's a lot of pressure. But I always feel for him because it comes straight after Mother's Day. So
yeah.
He does all this work for Mother's Day, and then his birthday kind of is like an afterthought. So poor thing.
All the money's been spent on Mother's Day. But, it was a great show today. Again, talking about op shops, the impact they've had in communities, and just blown away by all the callers, Phil, and all the stories.
Loving it. In fact, we had more than we could even take today. So we will have some more tomorrow, because the beautiful part about the op shop is actually, you know, as itself, it's providing low-cost items for people so that they can have access to it in need. But it's actually today talking about the impact that it has on the volunteers, upon the people who come in contact, finding Jesus. There's just so many angles to the way that God's using op shops.
Yeah, it's incredible. It really is. And we had the focus on the Families Day, because it's still National Families Week. They're dropping gold. It was a great show. You are definitely going to enjoy the podcast. We're glad you've tuned in, and enjoy.
Good morning. It is Thursday, the 15th of May. Can you believe it? Halfway through May. You're waking up with Rise and Shine. Fel and Andy here. How you doing, Andy?
I'm doing great, Phil. How are you today?
Yeah, very good. It's my husband's birthday today. Yesterday was birthday eve.
Is he listening?
Today, he will be.
Murray, all I can say to you is happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Celebrate.
I know. I've left the kids in charge for the birthday breakfast.
Nice.
And as I was kissing the girls good morning, they're like, do we really have to get up and give Dad breakfast? What time do I have to get up?
Of course.
About now. So girls, get cracking. Bake those eggs and bacon on the stove. That's
what about some coffee? Is he a coffee man?
He is a coffee man. Girls, we need that as well.
Who's making the coffee?
Well, I think that'll be a Bella job.
Okay.
But, you know, Millie, they're all capable of making coffee because I need coffee. So they're good at it.
Enjoy your day, Mary. Thank you for letting your wife be with us today and not making you that breakfast in bed with that coffee, that's for sure.
But we have got so much to cover. I have to be here. I mean, we're going to be chatting with Brett and Kate Ryan. It's been Families Week all through the week. Haven't we been loving checking in with them?
Yeah, it's been good just having that Christian perspective on Families Week. It is a government thing, Families Week, and yet they're bringing a God perspective to families, how we can do families better.
And today, they've told us they're going to be chatting about frustration in the family. What happens when things go wrong and you just want to yell? How should our response be? So I think that's really important for families everywhere to be across.
We all need to learn how to regulate our emotions, Phil.
Yeah, that's what it's all about this morning. We'll also be chatting about a special choir competition. There's $5,000 up for grabs if you're in a choir. And our big question for the day is op shops, Andy.
Yes, we are going to be talking about op shops today because, you know, most op shops are actually controlled or run by churches.
That's right.
And so it's sort of like a ministry arm of the church.
Thanks for streaming the Rise and Shine Daily podcast. Please subscribe to the show, rate it on your favourite podcast platform, and share the link on your socials. It all helps get the word out.
As we mentioned before, all week it's Families Week, National Families Week, a government initiative. But how great to have our Focus on the Family team right in the midst of it.
Yeah, well, you got to feel, I mean, without God, as we said yesterday, how can you do family in this modern world? There's so much complexity, so much stress and pressure, so many things sort of coming at us from every direction. And with Jesus and with the Lord, you know, we can actually find that peace, can't we, to get the job done right and actually bring a bit of love and a bit of joy as well.
Well, and I completely agree. As a result, we have been checking in with Kate and Brett Ryan from Focus on the Family Australia. So they are the national directors. It's an international movement, Focus on the Families. But in Australia, we have our own team, which is very nice, our Aussies here on the ground. And we got to have a chat to them every morning during the week. Can I just say I've loved this particular chat about technology and teenagers. If you've ever asked a question about those two things and how they're linked, you want to lean in as we got to ask Brett about his top tip.
If I got $1 for every time some parent came and asked us at a parenting seminar, how do I get my kids off their technology devices? I could actually still fund Focus on the Family, I think, because it is such a big thing. And it's not our kids' fault that they've been brought up in a digital world. But it's really, really, and if you've got young kids and you're listening to this, put some tighter controls early, and that becomes the norm in your household. Because once the horse is bolted, becomes their oxygen, and it's very difficult to curb their enthusiasm for the devices. And parents, unfortunately, have used technology as a wonderful babysitter. Keep them quiet, give me a little bit of me time, which we talked about yesterday, having a bit of me time. But the important thing is to talk with our kids, to include them in the decision, not to become dogmatic about it, but actually to say, hey, we as a family, we don't want to spend all our time looking at a screen. Let's spend some intentional time with one another to have some fun and activities, and to, believe it or not, to talk to one another.
And build relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a challenge in today's world, isn't it? I mean, we've all had kids, and it's so hard to get them off that technology, isn't it? But
not everyone's had a kid, but yes, it is tricky. I'm listening to you though, Brett, and I'm wondering, for someone who's got teenagers and they've grown up with it, and my kids are that little bit older, what is the tip then? It sounds to me like being intentional as a family and having some non-tech time might be something good to be mindful of.
Well, that is, and we need to put things in place. And first of all, we've got to set the right example ourselves. It starts there. I mean, there's no point saying, look, I'm so sick of you being on your tech all the time, but the very first thing you do is sit on the couch with the tech in your hand. So, we're trying to tell our kids to do something. We all know that 80% of what our kids learn is from observing us. 10 to 20% really is what we say. And so if it doesn't marry up, then they're just going to ignore.
Yeah.
But if you are setting a really great example and you're making relationships the number one priority and not tech, they're going to observe that.
That's good.
And so let's set the example first.
Yeah, maybe having a technology-free Tuesday.
Yes.
Let's start off small. Start off little
small.
And say, hey, we're going to have a games night. Get the kids involved. You can choose the menu. You can choose the game. And let's do something together as a family. And that may be the catalyst to say, actually, I can go without my technology devices.
The tech-free dinners for sure, in a basket, on the bench or wherever, and so that you're sitting down tech-free.
Such great advice.
yes, that's the goal, isn't it?
Very practical. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because on one hand, like I'm just thinking in our own family, I want my kids to be confident and feel like they can regulate themselves. And we talk a lot about self-regulation. And, okay, how well are we self-regulating? Have you made good choices? Because when they get to being, and my kids are now starting to get there, that 18, 19, they're going to take over the reins. I want them to be ready to do that. So there's a lot to think about when you're a parent.
Yeah, and look, I've got no advice for parents out there, but I do have 3 kids, a 20-year-old, 19 and a 15-year-old. But the thing about technology, it's a massive issue. And I think the less access kids have to it, the better. But it's very difficult to give them no access at all, because then they're like the weird kid at school without a phone or without a device. And so you got to balance it. But, even my eldest, she's 20, she's studying law. Her friends are all studying law or, medicine. Yeah, they're high functioning. But they all say amongst themselves too, they all seem to suffer from more anxiety today. And we were talking about this last night. I said to my daughter, I think it's because you guys are spending so much time on your devices. Your brains are constantly active. You're not relaxing enough. You're not getting enough just nothingness or just space in your lives. And she's like, yeah, you're probably right, Dad, because we're always on the go. There's always stuff bombarding our brains, like information overload.
And that's for adults as well, isn't it, really? Like if you think about your own world, that opportunity for this calmness and peace, when is there that space just to allow God to talk to you even? Because when you're on your phone, if you're scrolling, it's pretty hard for God to get through. I think that's a really, really good point.
And I think it's harder for kids to turn it off.
Right.
Because they get more addicted to these things than us adults, because we get a bit over it. I do anyway. It's like, hey, I've had enough now. But when you're a young teenager and all your friends are on there, there's all this TikTok stuff happening, and that they can so easily spend too much time on it.
Well, it's designed to be interesting. It's designed to get you and keep you attached to the platform. But look, if that's something that you would like to find more information about, head over to families.org.au. That's the families, Brett and Kate's Focus on the Family, their website. I'm finally getting it out. It's
Google
early in the
Focus
morning.
on the Family.
You'll find it. They've got so many resources, and that's certainly one that you can get a hold of there.
Rise and shine on Vision Christian Radio.
And look, all through the week, we've been inspired by a chat we had with Mayor Teeny Brumby from Burnie, Tasmania. She started telling us about her op shopping. Let's have a listen.
Look, when I first got this job 2.5 years ago, I have to confess, I didn't really have a wardrobe suitable for a mare.
Sure.
So nor did I have the income as that, because I was actually a mother before I became a mare.
Beautiful.
So I didn't have the means. I was full-time raising 4 children.
Wow.
And then, become the mare. So I need to increase my wardrobe. I need to have some beautiful things every day. I'm photographed and out at different events. So I traverse the op shops and I have got an epic wardrobe, and many of my pieces are $2, $3, $4. So I love every day. All my wardrobe is actually op shops. So when people say, "Oh, man, you look lovely today," I say, "Well, thank you. This was $4."
How good is that? That
An epic wardrobe. That's what I heard, Phil.
No.
An epic wardrobe.
I heard I need to spend more time at op shops, actually. But as a result, we've been putting out the call. What have you found at the op shop? Have you found any treasures? Here's a few of our favourites so far.
I love op shops. And my youngest daughter was getting married in England, in the UK, and my other daughter lives interstate, and we were going over for the wedding, of course, and I couldn't find shoes to match my outfit. So I went to an op shop and I found these stunning brand new shoes.
Oh, wow.
And when we got to the wedding, my daughter had exactly the same pair of shoes, and she'd paid a large amount of money for the same shoes, and mine were brand new and identical. And it was just one of many stories that has been a blessing. So I just thought I'd share it.
That is, and to get shoes, brand new and the right size,
yes,
colour
yes,
and style.
They were
What
stunning.
are the
They were
chances?
stunning.
Where was that op shop at?
It was in Dubbo. I don't remember which shop it was, but it was one in Dubbo.
About a year ago, we had some really good friends that we know from Alaska. They were doing a cruise, and they strongly encouraged us to do it out from Singapore. And I couldn't walk. I was really in a huge amount of pain. And we were driving along, and Jane said, "I need to get an outfit. We're supposed to get dressed up in glad rags on the ship." And we're thinking, anyway, Jane said, "We're going to go to this op shop." And yeah. I said, and when we walk in there, we need a wheelchair. I can't believe I'm even saying it. And as we walk in the door, there it is right in front of us. A perfect, absolutely couldn't have been more perfect. And anyway, for about $50, we got these amazing outfits.
Wow.
And we were dressed up to the nines, and everybody was saying, "Hey, you look so amazing, Wayne. You dress up really well," and blah, blah, blah. And we had these huge smiles because it cost us all the $50.
All right, good morning. Just want to share an op shop story. So I collect antiques and old bits and pieces. That's my thing. So I can't even remember what op shop it was. It would have been some, tiny little op shop in a country town. But I was going through, they had a whole lot of photos and postcard type cards. And I found this beautiful picture of this lady, like your typical, back in that day picture where she's got the beautiful dress on. She's standing next to a side table with a vase. And I thought, I love that. I'm having it. So I bought it. And then, look, I couldn't even guess how many years later, but I'm with my mama, right, my mum's mum, and we're looking through my photo album, and she goes, "Where'd you get that from?" Because she was really serious. I said, "I bought it." She goes, "You did not. You stole that from my house, didn't you?" And I said, "Mama, I did not." She goes, "Yes, you did." And I said, "No, I didn't. I bought it." And she goes, "That's my great aunt,
What?
And
Really?
I said to her, "Really?" And she goes, "Yeah, that's a picture of my great aunt. I've got one exactly the same as that. You stole mine." And I said, "No, no, I didn't." I wish we'd actually been at her house, because then she could have showed me her one. But I just thought, how God moment is that,
Some years ago, I wanted to buy a fascinator to wear with my outfit to my daughter's wedding.
Lovely.
I didn't find one, and on second thoughts, the outfit really didn't need it. But I found something of different nature. A woman came into the store looking rather dour, and before I knew it, she was down on the floor fitting. I immediately sprung into action and prayed in tongues, and that woman was up on her feet and out of the store in no time.
Praise God.
Absolutely.
Leslie, miracles in the op shop.
That's a good op shop story. So no fascinator, but a prayer of faith.
And that's been the best part is God using op shops to minister to other people.
It's almost like it's God's holy ground, isn't it, the op shop, Phil?
Well, it seems to be.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me Vision's breakfast show is now available around the clock and on demand? Incredible! The Rise and Shine podcast. Rise and Shine.
Are you ready for a challenge? Listen to the mystery sound, correctly name the Bible story, and win a great prize. Sounds easy, but is it? Rise and Shine's Bible Story Sound Off.
Well, it's certainly not easy. This sound in particular, I feel, is a bit tricky.
I'm just thinking, would the day be okay now, Phil, without Bible story sound off? We do this every day, don't we?
I think I don't know what I would do with myself. I do enjoy it. Even though this sound in particular is a little bit hard, it's still fun.
It's cryptic.
Cryptic is the way. Oh, here we go. Here's the sound. We're going straight in.
If you're new to Vision, we flew back in time. We captured the sound of a Bible story, and this is it.
Your job at home, try and match that sound to a Bible story. It's very hard.
We can promise you it's in the Bible. We can promise you it's in the Old Testament.
Yes.
It's in the first half of the Old Testament. And there's a prophecy behind this story, Phil.
Well, it feels like you've given so many clues and yet none. But how about, do we have a listen to what it's not this morning?
Young David looking after his sheep on a mountainside, and the birds are singing and the sheep are rustling around and chewing the grass.
Noah's Ark, where they open the window and let the birds, the dove out, and then shut the window.
The man who discovers the rare pearl and buys the field.
Gideon, when he didn't want to follow, he was in the hole,
yes,
so to speak,
literally
digging away to get away from what God had called him to do.
I was thinking it was the Garden of Eden before the fall.
It's Elijah at Mount Carmel.
Elijah with camels?
Mount Carmel.
Oh, Mount Carmel.
Mount Carmel.
So many good guesses. I mean, they are fabulous. Many of them fit the criteria, but are they right, Andy?
Well, no, unfortunately, they all got that sound.
And you quite enjoyed that, didn't you?
I do enjoy it,
The Rise and Shine podcast.
I think we've got Joe on the line.
Joe, what do you think it might be?
Well, I'm wondering if it's in Genesis 26 where Isaac digs the wells and they're blessed by God.
Now, yes, because we've got digging, we've got wells, so there's some water in there. There would be birds. Andy, to me, that sounds like it's fulfilling lots of the criteria.
It actually fits all the criteria, but I don't think it's the right answer. But that could be the answer.
You didn't even give her a chance to defend her answer.
That could be the answer, though. That's an excellent answer.
Hello, it's Heather here. I just wanted to put an answer into the Bible story.
Yes, please. Heather, what do you reckon it might be?
I think it's when the children of Israel were crossing over the sea, Red Sea, when the water was closing over, when the Pharaoh and all those went across the river.
Yep.
And it closed over them.
Yes.
And that's the sound of the water.
It does sound like that.
Such a good guess. Let me see if that's the answer, though.
Oh, no. Heather, great guess, though.
Excellent guess. Thank you so much for calling.
Well, the sound lives on for a different day.
It does, Phil, but I tell you what, the answers are so good, though. They are like a Bible story, aren't they, these answers?
Well, every single one, and they're so thorough, so well thought through.
We're caffeinated and ready to face the day. This is Rise and Shine on Vision.
In my head, it was Wednesday for a second.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad it's Thursday?
Yeah, and we're halfway through the month of May. We're almost halfway through the year, and it feels like the year just started, Phil.
It does. It does. Maybe it's every morning getting up, going early. It does go very quickly. And it's my husband's birthday today. So, Murray, if you're listening, hopefully by now the girls have made you bacon and eggs. You have a coffee in hand. Yes. You're enjoying your breakfast with some presents on the table. Then I know that they've done their job. So, girls, on you there. But I do have to give a shout out. I want to say hello to Manila in New South Wales. 88 FM is the way that you listen to Vision. We're so thankful you're part of the family. It's about 45 k's northwest of Tamworth. So if you know where Tamworth is, that's where Manila is. famous for fishing, mountain biking and paragliding. And that's what caught my attention because I've never been paragliding. Have you been, Andy? I wondered.
I haven't, no.
Because you're a bit of a thrill seeker.
I am a bit of a seeker of thrills, and I'm open to a bit of paragliding. I'd be up for the challenge. But,
yeah, you would. You'd do it.
It's one of those towns, isn't it, Manila? At first you think, that can't be in Australia because obviously Manila's in the Philippines. There's also Texas in Australia too. A lot of people don't know there's a town called Texas in Australia, which is also a little bit confusing when you first see it. You think, really? There's a Texas in Australia? But yeah, interesting name for a town. Now, Phil, we are in the book of Isaiah, and this is a good verse here, and it says that your people shall all be righteous. This is in verse 21 of chapter 60. They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands. Now, this is a prediction or a prophecy that Isaiah the prophet made, that one day everyone will be righteous who believes. And this is the New Testament, that as Christians, believe it or not, whether you feel like it or not today, in the sight of God, you are righteous. And this is a miracle of salvation, isn't it, Phil? That everyone in God's eyes today who believes in Jesus is righteous.
Well, it means that you have right standing with God. So the Bible says that you can then go boldly into the throne room of God and ask for help, because it's not actually based on what you've done or how good you are, but literally the blood of Jesus has been paid the price. So you stand there as if sin never existed. That's the miracle of what Jesus did for us.
Yeah, and Isaiah predicted this like 1,000 years before Jesus came into the world. He had no concept of what he was saying, but he was just sharing his heart, what he felt at the time, and he just saw a day when everyone will be righteous, and you and I are living in those times.
Well, that was the prophecy of God's will, and it wasn't a surprise to God. God said he had this plan from before the world began.
It's the daily podcast of your favourite Aussie breakfast show, Rise and Shine. Rise and Shine.
All through the year, we have been completing a Bible study, just looking at a chapter a day, hoping to encourage you that it actually can be really easy to jump in and just read something from the Bible every day to feed your spirit and keep your spirit strong. As much as we feed our bodies every morning, Andy, it's a good idea to also feed on the Word of God.
Yeah, absolutely, Phil. And we did the whole book of Mark. Now we're doing the book of Acts, and we're already up to chapter 11 of the book of Acts.
We are. So what has happened so far in Acts? Well, we've seen Jesus. He's gone up to heaven. He's left his disciples, and their job is to go out and tell everyone the good news that Jesus has saved them. He's paid the price for their sins. We see that they wait, they tarry, and that's an old-fashioned word, isn't it? They wait, they get the power of the Holy Spirit, and then they're going out and starting to do this task. They're starting to tell people, and we're seeing the church grow. And so far it had been, up until we got to chapter 10 yesterday, mainly Jewish believers. But in chapter 10, there's a bit of a change. Hey, Andy?
Yeah, a Roman leader has an angel visit him, which I just love, because I said this yesterday that, a lot of the fundamentalist Jewish people would have seen the Romans as their enemies. They wanted to kick the Romans out. And later on in about AD 70, the Jews actually had a rebellion against the Romans, which didn't end well. But my point is this, that in the midst of that, God sends an angel to this Roman soldier, a leader of men. He gathers all of his friends and family together. Peter visits them. The Holy Spirit falls on them. And suddenly now the church is growing beyond being a Jewish sect into something which is international, which everyone in every nation can actually receive Jesus through.
Exactly. But if we get to Acts 11, we see Peter's actually called to account. So the other apostles, there's no telephones in that day. They just hear this has happened, hear that he's hanging out with people who aren't Jews. According to their customs, it didn't look right. So they call him and they say, hey, Peter, come and give us an account of what's going on. Peter then goes through and he tells them what happened before. He tells them about the vision. He tells them about the Holy Spirit coming upon these beautiful new believers and how God has clearly blessed the Gentiles with the same promise of salvation. And they get excited about that too. And we start to see a change then and an excitement for going out and telling everybody that the Gentiles, that means the non-Jewish people, but as well as Jewish people, are welcomed into the Christian body. Isn't that exciting?
And then the church elders, they talk about it, they discuss it, and then they go, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. God is going to reach people all around the world.
It's amazing. And so as a result, we see suddenly the church starts to grow beyond those borders. We see people and believers going out to Antioch, to Cyprus, Phoenicia, and they're preaching the word not only to the Jews, but everybody else as well.
And you mentioned before, Phil, that a character turns up now who's called the Son of Encouragement. Who's that?
Yes, well, but we met him back in Acts 4. There was a guy and his name's Joseph, and they gave him the nickname of Barnabas. And it says there, he's the son of encouragement. He must have been quite a guy. I mean, I think How cool for the Bible to call you an encourager.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting, isn't it?
And he seems very encouraging too, doesn't he?
Well, he does. We see him here. He's at the church at Jerusalem. They're hearing what happened. So they go and they get Barnabas and they send him to Antioch where things are. And it says here, when he arrived and saw this evidence of God's blessing that they were being saved and born again, he was filled with joy and encouraged the believers to stay true to the Lord. I love this about Barnabas. It says here, he was a good man, full of the Holy Spirit, strong in faith. Many were brought to the Lord. But then he does something else that's really cool, Andy. He actually goes and gets someone who's going to be really important for the rest of the story.
Yeah.
Someone who'd been left sort of on the sidelines. We heard about him a couple of days ago.
Yeah, he encourages Paul, who a lot of the Christians are like, is this guy legit? Like, is he just pretending to be a Christian because he wants to destroy us? And Barnabas, he encourages him, doesn't he? Turns up, befriends him, and they become buddies for quite some time.
Yeah, it's really important because Paul at that point was in Tarsus, his hometown, and he gets pulled out. Barnabas goes and gets him, brings him back, and then we see both of them staying there and actually preaching to large crowds for a year. And we're going to see some more about that coming on in the next few chapters.
And the very end of the chapter, Fel, I do like this. It says that there's a guy who's known as a prophet. His name is Agabus, and he stands up and he shows by the Holy Spirit that there was going to be a great famine throughout all of the land. And the church responds to this and starts to get resources together to help those people in the famine. Now, in the modern church world, we have this cliche. We say something is prophetic or someone is a prophetic minister. But biblically, Agabus was prophetic because he predicted the future.
That's right.
And so there's a difference between having the gift of prophecy, which is to encourage people, build people up and say, look, the Lord loves you and he's got a plan for you, all that sort of stuff, which is all good stuff, to actually accurately predicting the future. So if someone claims in the modern Christian church to be a prophet, they have to have a track record of actually accurately predicting the future. And my experience, Fel, there's not many people actually do that. And so that's fine. That means there's not many real prophets. There's lots of us with the gift of prophecy, though.
It is good. The Bible does encourage you to judge all prophecies, and that's always I've been taught. I love this, that idea. It should match up with the Bible. It's not going to go against what God says in his word is his will. And also you on the inside should have a knowing that also lines up.
But it's just a big call when you're accurately predicting the future. Like, that's a big thing, and not many people actually do. And that's fine. So that just means a lot of people who think they're prophets actually aren't. They're just someone with the gift of prophecy, and we can all use that prophecy gift just to encourage people, build people up, and just be a blessing. So Agabus is not just encouraging, he's actually saying, hey, there's going to be a famine, and it came true.
It did. And look, tomorrow we'll jump into Acts 12. In Acts 12, we're going to see, some prison time and what happens there. That'll be coming up in Acts 12 tomorrow. You can read ahead, of course. You could jump in and have a look tonight. But tomorrow we'll be there on Friday.
You found the podcast of Vision's breakfast show, Rise and Shine.
Rise and Shine. I'm loving all of these shout-outs for op shops around the country. Maria said she loves the Hills Church Opportunity Shop in Ferntree Gully, and Linnell's put one here that I love. Linnell says she loves the Tin Can Bay Community Church Op Shop. The old church building, as the congregation outgrows it, now meets elsewhere. But behind the church is the Sunday school, and that's all sorts of different things. It's all been moved together, and they've got this wonderful op shop. And we've actually got Jim from Tin Can Bay's op shop here on the line with us. Jim, tell us about your op shop.
Our op shop is run by our community church, and we've got a great team of people there. But we're a little bit shy on volunteers at the moment, but according to our customers, we're the best op shop in Queensland.
There you go.
Oh, that's a big call. I love that, though, Jim. What inspired your church to get involved in starting an op shop?
Well, that happened before I joined the church. I've been here for, 15 years now, close on 15 years, and the op shop's been going for about 17 years.
And is it a blessing to the church? How does the church intersect with the op shop?
It is. It's because of the op shop, because we're only a little church, probably about 40 members. On average, we have about 80 people on a Sunday morning. But if it wasn't for the op shop, there'd be things that we just could not help with. Things like the disasters around the country. We help with disasters overseas. We help with local, state, national and international where we can, all because of the op shop.
Incredible. Must be very rewarding for you, is it, working in that store, Jim, that op shop?
Yeah, it is. we're one of the few op shops that actually do electrical test and tagging.
Oh.
Not many shops sell electrical items, but I do the test and tagging, and well, that's just one line of many that we have. We're only a little op shop, but so we can't do heavy furniture or anything like that. But clothing, bric-a-brac, we've had people come from the other side of Brisbane, Maryborough, Gympie, all come out to visit our little op shop.
Oh, well, you have to give it a call out, Jim. What's the name of the op shop in the church?
It is the Tin Can Bay Community Church op shop.
Tin Can Bay Community Church op shop.
That's correct. We are on Buchanan Street in Tin Can Bay.
Well, if you are in Tin Can Bay, Buchanan Street sounds like it's the place to be. We're putting it out there. Queensland's best op shop. Unless there's another op shop that wants to challenge.
Yep.
At the moment, you're top of the list there, Jim.
Now, if you want something really special, what you do is you come up here for a couple of days. You go down first thing in the morning down to Norman Point where you can feed the dolphins.
Yes, I've heard about this, but I haven't done it.
Oh, that's nice.
It sounds amazing.
So what you do is you go down, you feed the dolphins, and then come 8 o'clock, you wander into the op shop and have a morning of browsing and chit-chat.
Well, I can't think of anything better, actually, to be honest. That sounds just divine. Jim, thank you so much. And tell us, while we've got you, how have you come to hear vision?
I was a meter reader.
Wow.
And I was meter reading down where your original transmissions were.
In like Bow Desert?
No, not that far back. Opposite Bunnings.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of the street now. But anyway, I was wandering down there reading meters, and I wandered in. I'm here to read your meter. Okay. I was led around to the meter, came back out. Have you heard of Vision Radio? No. Have you heard of Word for Today? No. So from that day on, yeah.
Wow. Well, someone did a good job at reception there. That was very impressive.
So, yeah.
Oh,
and that was too many years ago to remember.
Yeah. Good on you, Jim. Well, thank you so much for calling.
No, that's okay.
Oh, well, there you go. Linnell and Jim both voting that the best op shop, at least Queensland, maybe Australia, maybe the world.
It sounds like a great op shop.
The race is on. Well, really, we just love hearing about these op shops that are the centrepiece of their community, doing God's hand and feet in their local areas.
Yeah, and it is a nice part of the world. So anyone who goes on holidays to Tin Can Bay, make sure you check out the op shop in Tin Can Bay. Sounds like a place to visit.
Always encouraging and always fun. Rise and shine on Vision.
Phil, we have Karen on the line. Karen manages an op shop in southeast Queensland. Karen, welcome to Rise and Shine.
Thank you. Great to be a part of it.
Oh, wonderful, Karen. Now, look, we have been hearing so many stories of the way that op shops are a blessing to those who come and visit and buy clothes and all sorts of things that that connect with. But I also love the fact that it's such a blessing for those involved running it and as a volunteer as well. What's been your experience?
Oh, we've had so many beautiful things happen. Basically, we were birthed to raise much-needed funds, as you know, to help the most vulnerable in our city. And we have, since we've opened, what we've really been focusing on is creating a community in Ashgrove by creating a place where everyone is welcome. So that's our heart. And we now have, we're just counting this morning, 5 people from the local community volunteering with, which is amazing.
Wow.
From high school girls to ladies that come in and iron. Had 2 girls start yesterday on front counter and sorting clothes. And a lot of these people are unchurched. So they come in, they feel the welcomeness of us, the love of God, and they want to do something. They want to give back.
Isn't that good? And have you seen lives literally transformed through coming through the op shop, either as a volunteer or as a customer, and they've gone on the journey and actually found Jesus?
Yeah, look, Andrew, it is a journey, but I have got 2 lovely stories that I thought of that I'd love to share with you.
Please.
So there was a gentleman who came into our op shop just before Christmas, just after we opened. And after talking with him briefly, I realised he was literally homeless. And that day he was able to use our shower on site. He received new clothing and leave with a food parcel as well. And we just loved on him. And we still see him every other week. And the gratitude that flows from him is just so beautiful and pure. And now he's talking about coming to church. He comes in. He's the one that brings up God. We have faith talk. He wants to come and play the guitar at church for us.
Wow.
Just lovely little things like this. And he's the most beautiful soul. And the other one is just about a man who came in about 3 weeks ago. And I noticed he was very shaky and he was really doing it tough. And we ended up giving him free clothes and whatever else he needed that we had. And this man now pops in, literally, guys, every day.
Wow.
He helps us put out our signs at the start and finish of every day at the op shop. And he has attended our King's Table, which is our free community lunch that we have every Friday. And then for the last 2 weeks, he's actually gone on the food outreach, which is just unbelievable. And when he gets back from that, you can see the joy and the hope in his eyes that he has a sense of purpose and self-worth again. Now, this same man yesterday came in. Again, he was shaking. He's trying to detox from alcohol. And we've just been loving on him. And I just said, can I pray for you? Wow. And he just said yes. And I put my hand on and I just started to pray for him. And just the presence of God came over. And when I'd finished, I noticed tears rolling down his eyes. And he looked up to me. He was almost in a state of shock, when I'd finished. And he just said, that's the first time anyone in my life has ever prayed for me. It was just the most beautiful thing. And now he's starting to want to continue to volunteer and come to church. So that's one of the most beautiful stories.
That is so powerful.
Isn't it just taking the church out of a building and being the church Monday through all the rest of the week? Karen, it's beautiful.
So, so obviously it's more than just a shop, isn't it, selling stuff and clothes?
No, it's a community.
It's incredible, isn't it, how God is using op shops to impact people's lives like this, Karen?
Absolutely. And it's such a privilege, and not only that, through our volunteers, they see a way to see God in us as well. And it just opens their eyes to church. And we've got now 3 people coming to church that have been coming to the op shop. One lady has been in the community for over 22 years and has never really settled with her faith family. Now she's coming to our church and she says, I've found my tribe. She loves it. And every time she comes to church, she just cries the whole time. She's so moved and she's so happy and she's finally found that strength in community that helps her to hold on to life and each other.
Strength in community. Karen, you've put it perfectly. I think we need more op shops by the sounds of it. It's amazing. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Love the Rise and Shine podcast? Tell a friend today.
We've got Philip on the line. Philip, you got an op shop story?
We were at a lovely big church in Los Angeles called the Dream Center. And it's like a hospital church, but part of their ministry was having an op shop. Right. And the interesting thing about this op shop is that people could come in and get 2 or 3 items free. Absolutely no money at all being exchanged. And we were living in quite a poor neighborhood in Los Angeles, so that's open, and we get a lot of people, of course, but every morning we'd look out and there was bags of clothing being left by people donated to the op shop.
Wow.
And they always went on the same beautiful Bible verse that when you give to the poor, you lend to God and he will repay. So it was a very, very exciting time just to see the supply that God gave to us because we're giving out to poor people.
Yeah, and so generous, hey, just giving 2 or 3 items for free every time.
Yeah, it was crowded.
I bet.
It would have been busy. And I bet you saw some big impact on people's lives.
Huge, because there's also food giveaways and other things going on in that beautiful thing. So if you ever look it up on the internet, it's LA Dream Center. And just to see the things they do is amazing.
It's good to be inspired. Well, Philip, thank you for inspiring us with the story this morning.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
You too. Bye. And we'd love to hear your story about an op shop having an impact in your local world. We've put it up on Facebook. If you go to Rise and Shine Vision, lots of people calling out their local op shops. Liz says the Salvo shop in Dolby is the place to go. Elizabeth said the Southport Church of Christ op shop, a very good one as well. So
there you go.
There's lots of them.
And the LA Dream Centre.
Well, there you go.
This is international, isn't it? Not just Australia, but overseas as well.
Just the right mix of things to inspire and things to make you smile. Rise and shine on Vision.
Well, we are loving what God is doing in Richmond, Queensland. Now, there's a lot of Richmonds. This is the Richmond in Queensland, listening along on 88 FM, and it's on Overlanders Way, so halfway between Townsville and Mount Isa, to give you a bit of a picture. But I love this is the description of Richmond. Imagine being in a place so diverse, so vast, you feel an indescribable sense of freedom. From the plains of the down country to the silvery shimmer of the sun shining on the gidgee trees in the forest country. I had to look up what a gidgee tree is. It's also known as a stinking wattle, which I thought wasn't quite so romantic.
A stinking wattle.
Yeah, so at some point they decided gidgee was a better name than stinking wattle.
And you're right, there's a lot of Richmonds around, isn't there? There's actually a Richmond in London. I still remember the Richmond train station, not far from Twickenham and from Wimbledon as well.
Oh, well, if you're in Richmond, Queensland, I can't give you the weather if you're near Wimbledon, but it's 15 degrees right now, heading to 30 during the day. And a big shout out to you as you maybe smell the wattle trees in your region.
The stinking wattle trees. Well, we are in Isaiah chapter 60, and this is the last verse. I want to miss this chapter. I love this chapter. Verse 22, it says, "A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. And I, the Lord, will hasten it in its time." It's almost an obscure verse, this one, but I just do like it because, with God, things that are small can grow. Yeah. And it is a real Bible truth that, do not despise the day of small beginnings. So we might have a small dream, a small idea. We might start a little business. We might start a church, whatever we start. Just because it's small, one of the great promises from God is that things can grow with God.
Oh, that is so exciting. That's for someone out there. You're listening along now and you're thinking, this is only tiny. Once you pray over that, once you release it to God, God is the God of increase in every area of your world.
And I guess we're living it, Fel, because Vision, and we're about to do Visionathon not too far away. Vision started with one little transmitter in a little place called Bow Desert, and now we have over 700 transmitters. We're on digital in Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. We've got citywide signals in cities like Hobart. And so Vision started very small, but God has increased us and multiplied us. So now we're reaching literally hundreds of thousands of people.
Places like Richmond in Queensland, and that's thanks to people getting involved to give. There'll be an opportunity. We have Visionathon about 2 weeks from now. We'll be right in the midst of it. That's when we come together, tell stories, and also have an opportunity to raise funds to keep Vision going and growing, as Andy's been talking about it, going into the rest of the year.
I've heard of all-day breakfast on the menu, but here's a brekkie show available 24/7. Thanks for streaming the Rise and Shine Daily Podcast.
Well, it is still National Families Week, and who better to speak with than Brett and Kate Ryan from Focus on the Family. We've been talking to them all week, and today's Thursday, guys. What have you got for us on this National Families Day week, Thursday?
Well, good morning to you and good morning to all the listeners.
Good morning.
We're going to try and catch our breath because it has been a busy week and we love it because we're talking about families, and obviously Focus on the Family is a little bit biased, and we're going to be celebrating families, but also knowing that families need a little bit of help from time to time. Yeah. And unfortunately, many parents are feeling the pressures. They're feeling a little bit of overwhelmed. We spoke about early in the week of being self-care, centering on God, caring for yourself to find that space. But there are some other things that you need to do to role model. Instead of getting angry and frustrated and yelling and feeling, guilty, we need to actually learn to regulate ourselves.
It's an interesting problem, isn't it? Because I'm thinking about different stages of family life. When you've got little ones at home, there's a great opportunity to be frustrated a lot of the time, especially if you've got lots of little ones at home at the same time. And then even as they get older, if both of you are working full time and you've got school activities and you're running around, it can get very busy. There's lots of opportunity to feel frustrated and under the pump.
Well, it's interesting. I actually read a beautiful piece written by a young girl from our church yesterday and talking about the rhythm of rest. And we need to, it's not a reward. It's what we need to build into our lives so that we don't get frustrated. God built this into our lives. And so we need to do that so that we're constantly checking in with him and he's refilling our soul, so that even when these situations come at us, let's face it, we've all had them.
You haven't, Kate. You know.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine, Kate.
I can honestly say I've had a lot. That we have to find places, even if it's we take our kids all out into the backyard, give them something to do, and just take that few minutes to connect with God and say, I'm exhausted, Lord, I'm just coming to you for a chat because I know that you will fill my soul.
Yeah, and sometimes that's all you can do, isn't it? But, Brett, that word regulate, I really want you to explain that word more to us, and how do we do that?
Well, Kate's more of the expert, but in the way that our brain is wired. So I'll default to her because she's the expert.
Okay, the regulator.
I've done a bit of study on neuroscience, and so what actually happens is when we get into kind of a flight and fight response, our prefrontal cortex actually shuts down. It's a physiological thing, and our emotions kick in. So for our kids, for us, when we get heightened by something, our brains actually switch off and our emotions come in. So it takes about 20 minutes for it to regulate, but we've got to put something in its place, something that relaxes us. So whether it's a breathing technique, whether it's walking on grass or looking at the ocean or walking around a lake or drinking water or listening to praise and worship music, whatever it is that calms you, that's going to take about 20 to 30 minutes for your prefrontal cortex to switch back on.
It's like a reboot, like you do in a computer, to restart.
Yeah, and so we need to do that so that we can operate in a healthy way.
And so when we do, and we know that as identified, that we all can lose it. We might raise our voice in frustration and anger. So one thing is, once we have done the regulation, removed ourselves, we come back, we need to apologize that, Mummy and Daddy raised their voice and we're really sorry that would have been very scary. Would you please forgive me? So we acknowledge it, that we've got a fault. Another thing that I really highly recommend is a simple acronym that would be ideal in every situation, not just when families, but in our workplace, in our churches, in our community, wherever it may be, is to think before we speak. And using the THINK as the words that come from, the first T, is it true? So when you hear something that's going to trigger you, hang on, is that true? Then we need to go H. Is this what I'm going to respond or how I'm going to react? Is this going to be helpful to the situation? Is it going to escalate it or is it going to de-escalate it? I, is it inspiring? Is it going to build up and or is it going to tear down? N, this is a really important one. Is it absolutely necessary that I get my point across? Is the timing right? Because you have to pick our moments. And then finally, similar to the I in inspiring, is it kind? The talk about the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, kindness. Is this going to help? And if we all did that in our relationships, could you imagine what life would be? To think before we speak.
And I think the important thing in there is you have to breathe.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
You have to breathe before
it's highly underrated.
And that gives you the time to run through the think thing. Because if you don't take a breath, you react. Whereas if you take a breath and go, I need to apply this think thing and do that well. Otherwise, we will go into automatic mode. We default.
Yeah, which is emotional response.
Yes.
There's so much there. You could talk about this for hours, but, the good news is you guys have got a website and people can go to your website and access so many resources and information just like what you've just shared with us now. Just remind us again what your website is, please.
Well, we're actually, for especially partnering with Vision this week, is we're making it available, our free family cast platform. And it's got a variety of videos that people can tap into. It could be on parenting, it could be on marriage, it could be on dating, it could be apologetics. There's something for the kids with Adventures in Odyssey, radio theatre. It's like a one-stop shop. And all of that is available through familycast.com.au. That's familycast.com.au.
Sounds amazing.
Thank you so much for joining us. I think we'll have to look up the word think because I'm just imagining a toddler and thinking through that at the same when a toddler's throwing a tantrum or something and then I'm trying to remember what was the T, what was the H, what was the I, what did Kate say? So maybe a good idea to go to the website and download a resource and get across that. Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Subscribe and listen to the Rise and Shine podcast in the free Vision app. It's easy and available everywhere.
We've been inspired. Earlier in the week, we chatted to one of our Rise and Shine regulars, Nicolette in Toowoomba, about an interesting idea near her.
There's an op shop in Toowoomba where if you bring in children's clothes and as many items as you want, so today I'm going and I'm going to take 14 of Abby's clothes, anything, as long as they're clean and don't have holes in them. I take it in, I get 14 credits at the op shop and I get to take home 14 pieces of other sizes, other things, which is incredible when there's a baby on the way, because I take Abby's old stuff and I get all new stuff for the baby and I don't have to pay anything.
That is a great concept. And I think we've got the manager of that op shop and we're going to talk to them right now, Phil.
On the line, we've got Pastor Maddie from New Hope Church in Toowoomba. Hey, Maddie.
Hello, how's it going?
Look, very good. I'm very excited to have a chat to you because earlier in the week, our wonderful Vision family member, Nicolette, who lives in the Toowoomba region, was raving about this clothing exchange she was heading to. I can hear you've got some kids in the background as well, so I think you might it might have developed this concept, but it sounds like it is so busy. It must be something. Can you tell us what's happening in Toowoomba?
Yeah, so we've got a little pre-loved clothing store, and you can come and shop like a regular op shop or just donate like you would an op shop. But we also offer like an exchange program where you can exchange your kids' clothing in exchange for store credit to put towards something else in store.
It just sounds, Nicolette, and look, as a mum, I was super excited by this concept because I think we have so many clothes that the kids grow out of to be able to go and then replace the wardrobe with some that actually fit. It's such a blessing. Has it been a blessing to your community there, Maddie?
Oh, it honestly has. Like, I only took over the business a year ago, but just the community we've built is, absolutely incredible, and just like an amazing group of mum and parents, and it's been so nice to just meet all of them and connect with them.
Do you find an opportunity in the store as well to actually reach out to people, maybe introduce people to Jesus or just pray for people and just be a blessing spiritually?
Yeah, definitely. I always
No, it's good.
I always find I always take the time before every day just to pray about, maybe like if God has someone that he wants me to talk to throughout the day, and, it gets absolutely insane in store sometimes, but then I'll just notice there'll be like literally a 30-minute period and no one will be in the store but one mum, and she'll just open up completely about what's going on, and just have the opportunity just to encourage her and speak a little bit of life back into her, and it's amazing.
It's pretty special, isn't it? Because there are some people who will never step foot in a church or won't feel comfortable, but they'll come along to the op shop. You're Jesus to them. That's the closest that they'll come, and it's a pretty cool position to be in.
Oh, it definitely is. And even just, we run, like the church has been so generous and let us use the building for a couple of events. And even just like getting, people get to come in and see that, it's not scary. And even if it's just seeing the building, and we've, seen a few mums come to our play groups. And
oh, that's so good. Sounds like your little one loves you talking to other people on the phone too. Am I right?
No, it's school drop-off.
She sure does.
Does she work at the op shop too?
Yes, they love the toy room.
Yes.
I bet they do.
That was always my kids' favourite place as well.
Yes, they go in and play with all the new toys that have been donated.
Oh, amazing. Well, Maddie, thank you for what you do. Just know that Nicolette has spoken so highly and already called out, this is the best thing. Every mum in Toowoomba is there. So you're doing a great work, and we're very thankful for you. Thank you for having a chat.
Oh, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it.
You're most welcome. Have a wonderful day.
You guys too. Thanks.
Thanks, Maddie. Bye.
Brought to you by the generosity of Vision family members across Australia and around the world. The Rise and Shine podcast.
I've got Thara from Wagga on the line. Something about a pop-up op shop, which is interesting. Are you an op shopper, Thara?
So I am a seasoned op shopper. I love op shopping. I used to get a whole lot of stuff and send it over to WA to a drug rehab center because they needed things. So I was doing this regularly, and one day came up in a discussion with my pastor, and he said, why can't we do something like this over here? And I said, we could. So I attend Hope Community Wagga Wagga, and we are renting the CWA hall here in Wagga. So in November, we started a pop-up op shop. So we do it once a term, and we get all the things, and the week before we're opening up the pop-up shop, we just sort out the things. We are a very small church, So we sort out all the things, and then we do a free sausage sizzle on that day as well. And we don't charge for the items. We just give them away for free.
Wow.
So the next one we're doing is on the 15th of June.
Amazing. You must get a lot of people coming for the free sausage sizzle, also for the free items, do you?
So it was we wanted to do it as like just doing a service to the community, but now we've got people who have started attending church every week because of this. And we just love it. So because we're at the CWA Hall, it's right across the road from the Victory Memorial Gardens, and it's just a beautiful spot.
Yes.
And so we set up the sausage sizzle just outside. And, anyone who's walking past just sees it, and we just ask them, would you like a free sausage? And you can come in and have a cuppa as well and sit down and have a look at the things. So because it's a small hall as well, we only do clothes and shoes at the moment. But this is the third one we'll be doing, but the second one was so much bigger. So we're just wondering, we might need a bigger space with the next one.
That's a good problem, isn't it? Oh, Thara, that is just wonderful. It's great to see, as an outreach, people who would not normally just rock up to church, but are like, oh, there's a free sausage and I can look around some clothes. Actually, you're not so scary. Now I want to come and see what you're all about. Brilliant idea.
Right.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well,
just love it.
Thank you for giving us a call, encouraging us about, I love this, a pop-up op shop. It's hard to say.
And let's give it a plug again. What if people live in the Wagga area and they're going to visit Wagga, what's the name of your op shop again?
So our church is called Hope Community, and the pop-up op shop is called Hope Storehouse.
Hope Storehouse.
The Hope Community Church in Wagga Wagga and the Hope Storehouse. That's the place to go for a free sausage by the sounds. But wonderful, Thara. Thank you so much for giving us a call.
Thanks, everyone.
There you go. Light shining in the city of Wagga. Wagga's quite a large regional city in New South Wales, Phil.
Did you have family that live in that region?
Yeah, my mum grew up just outside of Wagga, about 20 minutes out, in a little town called Quinty with 7 brothers and sisters. So those 8 kids had kids and grandkids. And so, yeah, a lot of my family over the years have lived in the Wagga area, and I've been down there many times.
Lots of little Andys running around.
Lots of little Andys. And I'll say this, I've had some great prayer times in Wagga, so it's encouraging for me to hear stories like that of op shops reaching out to people and shining light, because often when I walk through that town, I've really felt my heart, God wants to move here in Wagga.
Oh, I love that. Well done to Thara and the team in Wagga, handing out sausages and love. Like, that's a great combination, right?
And free clothes.
And free clothes. I mean, what could you want? Well done to the team in Wagga.
Great conversations and great friends. The Rise and Shine podcast.
Look, I have got Anne standing by here from Burleigh in Queensland. Anne, have you got an op shop story for us?
We do have an op shop story for you. I work at Burleigh Church of Christ, and we have an op shop in our church hall that we set up every Monday, and we're open Monday to Friday. We have the cheapest op shop on the Gold Coast because we're all about actually helping people.
Ooh, okay.
Over 90% of our stock is $2 and under.
Oh, that is very cheap.
Awesome.
Wow. And
babies' clothes are 50 cents, kids' clothes are $1, adults $2. That's the sort of stuff that we sell.
Price point. That's
and
amazing.
We help a lot of people. And one of the things that we do with the money that we make is we have free food help every Friday morning from 8:30 to 10:30 for those in our community that are in need.
So good.
So good. Can you tell us, have you got any stories of people who have been impacted? Like, I'm sure there'd be so many. If you could find one, a person that pops to mind who's come in, perhaps has never heard of Jesus before and has found Christ through your centre?
We actually do have many, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And we find that that's often they'll come to the op shop for something, and then they find out we do the free food help.
Yes.
And then they are loved through that free food help.
Wow.
And they go, wow, why are you guys so kind? They can't believe the kindness that they encounter when they come here.
Amazing.
And they start asking questions, and we introduce them to what we've found as the love of Christ. That's our mission is to pass that on to others. And we have so many wonderful volunteers that just love these people so much that they ask the question. And then they come to church and we baptise them.
Wow.
Oh, how good is that?
Yeah.
Now, look, Burleigh
really
Heads,
wonderful.
It's quite a tourist destination now. So many people from across Australia go there for holidays. So if someone's visiting Burleigh, how do they find you guys?
we're actually not far from Stocklands, which is really helpful for a lot of the people that we help that don't have their own private vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And they can get the 50-cent bus to Stocklands.
A 50-cent bus, there you go. And what's the name of your op shop again if someone wants to search it up? If they're visiting Burleigh on holidays, I want to come and say hi to you.
Burleigh Op Shop.
There you go.
Burleigh Church of Christ.
It's
Burleigh Church of
easy to
Christ.
remember. Well, and you've inspired us because I just love hearing the hands and feet of Jesus, and as you're showing that love in a really practical way, like often we're like, oh, let's preach and teach. That's all wonderful, but you're actually out there demonstrating the love of Christ. That's the inspiration.
Yeah. All of our volunteers are amazing.
Oh.
Now, look, you recently had a big international surfing competition at Burleigh Heads as well. Did you get any of the overseas pro surfers coming in for a new outfit, maybe?
No, we did not. We were visited by a lovely pastor from the sunny coast while he was down for it.
There you go.
Oh, that's good.
There you go.
Was he getting a new outfit or a new book or a new Bible? What was he looking for?
He just came for a visit.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, no.
Oh, well, Anne, thank you for calling us and encouraging us this morning. We appreciate everything your team are doing for your local community.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks,
God bless.
Anne. Bye.
Bye.
There you go. So Andy's imagining professional surfers rocking up at the op shop store.
I don't know why. I just thought maybe some of the Brazilians went in there to get some cool clothes because they always dress really well, pro surfers. But yeah, Burleigh Heads is such a massive tourist destination now from people all across Australia. And it's just good to hear another story of God shining light through a local op shop in that area.
Wonderful. We have encouraged you to pop your op shops over on the Rise and Shine Facebook page, and a shout out to the Caboolture Living Hope Church of Christ. They have an op shop in that Moreton Bay region on the first Saturday of the month. I'm told that's fantastic. Michelle says the Defenders of Hope in Jimboomba is a place to go as well. So you can check out all of those different op shops, and maybe you could do an op shop crawl around the country. I mean, how cool would that be?
Why not?
If you do, let us know. We'll follow along. It'd be very fun.
You could probably do a whole year, couldn't you? Just op shop to op shop all around Australia.
Well, so far we've got most of the country covered.
Lots of laughs with lots of heart. The Rise and Shine podcast.
So great to be spending Thursday morning with you everywhere in Australia, and I have found somewhere we should be, Andy.
Where is it?
Okay, we should be in Exmouth, WA.
Exmouth?
It looks like I'm in an ad. Like I'm looking at the photos of Exmouth. So if you think of Western Australia and then you go to the very west, there's a little cape that pops up and it's on a reef and it's the turquoise blue see-through water. And I just feel like I'm meant to be there right now, surrounded by coral reefs, colourful fish, migratory whale sharks. There's some sheer cliffs nearby. Just a beautiful part of the world. So I'm having a look to see what the weather would be like today. Glorious, 17 degrees right now, so you could be in the ocean. 32 by later in the day. Sunny, beautiful day. And how cool that you can listen along on 87.6 FM while you're doing it.
Sounds beautiful. And, interestingly enough, Fel, there's an Exmouth in England as well, which is also a seaside town. Well, it's as pretty as you get in England. Let's say that.
Well, so no, it's not.
I think that, obviously we're biased, but I think the scenery in Australia is stunning. And the beaches in Australia, even overseas people say that some of the beaches in Australia are as good as you'll get anywhere in the world.
Well, this looks like a movie set.
Well, it sounds like one of the best in Australia. So there you go. To all of our friends and our listeners in Exmouth, so glad you were tuning in to Vision today. Maybe one of you should give us a call. I'd love to hear from someone from Exmouth. Now, we're in the Bible, though. I'm going to move ahead to Isaiah chapter 61. Verse 1 says this: "The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to preach good news to the poor." Now, we've been talking about op shops all day and how some people just feel like the op shop ministry is a way to bless the poor. And this is a Bible verse all about that God has anointed us all to preach good news to the poor.
Always encouraging and always fun. Rise and shine on Vision.
I've got Rixon on the line now. Rixon, have you got an op shop story for us?
Yeah, it's just a personal one. So my wife, after having our 3 kids, she decided to go back to work. So we kind of she tried everywhere, every Woolworths, Coles, and everything. Couldn't manage to get any jobs because obviously she's been off for a long time. So our church is part of an op shop that helps up to give donations. Awesome. And the CEO of that op shop came to the church to do a presentation just to say what your donation is doing for the op shop. Awesome. And when we were there, so she decided to go and ask him and say, look, looking for a job, couldn't find anything. And then he offered and said, look, don't worry, just come to us. We'll give you a job, no problem. So she started last year, July, because the op shop also does change for containers as well.
Yes.
So that's where she started to work there. And then, so she's just recently she started as a casual. So last year, July. So this year, she's now just recently made as a full-time and also second in charge of the supervisor.
Wow. What a blessing.
Yeah, so that was... Yeah, and that all started in the church, basically, because he came to do the delivery on a Sunday, and we met up with him, and then, straight away, then she also works in the op shop as well, but she mainly works for the change for containers.
Wonderful. Oh,
great story, mate.
Great
really
story.
good story.
Yeah.
Well, that is another one of those brilliant stories. They just keep coming, don't they, Andy?
Yeah, but it's like we said, that principle, when you give, it just comes back to you. And we are approaching Vision-a-thon, Phil, and there is something about giving, isn't there? When we give away of ourselves and don't hold on to things, God uses that, doesn't he, to bring blessing not only to others, but sometimes to us as well.
100%. It's a biblical principle.
The Rise and Shine podcast.
Tomorrow morning, we have Free Play Friday. So if you've got some songs that you want to hear, give us a call nice and early in the morning and we'll try and get them on for you as well.
Yeah, I always enjoy those Free Play Friday song choices as well. Well, this show has come to an end, Phil. Now the time is near where it's time for us to say goodbye.
You're waxing lyrical there, Andy.
There you go.
I thought you were going to rhyme.
Trying to remember the old Frank Sinatra song. I don't remember it. I did it my way. There the end is near. Is that how it goes?
Something like that.
And
once that we start singing, it definitely is time to hand over to the rest of the Vision crew for the day. We'll be back tomorrow. I think we've got some space to add maybe some more op shop stories. So if you've got one you've been thinking through the show, hey, I've had this story happen, you can get in touch by giving us a text 0447 488 316 or by jumping over onto Facebook and keep the conversation going there. Rise and Shine Vision. But whatever you're doing today, we pray God's blessing upon it. And we'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.